all so beautiful. You're so sexy.
The coolest podcast for the coolest chick. She's got a hot social life. Loves topless summers. This is Coolest Chick Podcast on Extended Entertainment Network.
If it really rocks,
we'll talk about it. This episode is brought to you by Audible.com. Sign up for a free 30-day trial and receive a free audiobook by going to our website, www.coolestchick.com. The Coolest Podcast with your host, the coolest chick, Macy Bookout.
What's up, everyone? This is Drama, and you're listening to Macy Bookout on Coolest Chick Podcast.
Hey, Coolest Chicks. This is your host, Macy Bookout, on episode 4 of The Coolest Chicks. Good news, guys. We made number 8 entertainment podcast on Stitcher, so let's keep up the downloading on the podcast, and hopefully we'll get to number 1. So thank you all so much. In this episode, we're going to be talking to Drama from MTV's Fantasy Factory and Robin Big, and he is also the CEO of Young and Reckless clothing line and Cause and Drama Productions. Bentley and I are huge fans of his, and Drama and I have a really good relationship. We work together with MTV, and then also he sponsors Bentley and myself with Young and Reckless clothing. We love the clothes. Drama's just a really good guy, and he's an awesome person to have on your side. So with that said, we're going to be giving you tips on how to go out on your own and run a business, or just how to hop onto the entrepreneurial bug. Don't you want to be the next Mark Zuckerberg or the next Drama? And I bet you do, and I certainly do. So you're going to learn a lot from this episode. There's a lot of opportunity for you to be your own boss, so stay tuned for more on how and what business to get into. Also, I discovered a few apps that you'll love to use while gliding onto the social lane. You have to be cool all the time. And here's the coolest thing about the apps: they're all free. Yes, a cool chick can ball on a budget sometimes. Cool Chicks, this episode is brought to you by Audible.com. Get on our website and click on their banner or connect to http www.audibletrial.com/coolestchickpodcast, and you'll get a free audiobook. They have over 100,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player. Well, hello, Drama. Thank you for letting me interview you for my podcast. How are you?
I'm good, and thank you for inviting me to be interviewed.
Okay, well, my first question is, I actually read the Huffington Post article, and in it you said that you didn't have very high aspirations when you first moved to LA, and it says that you really just wanted to get a job and get a one-bedroom apartment. But what made you want to do more than that? Like, what actually made you want to do more and start everything that you've started?
You want to know, I don't want what I said in that to be taken wrong. To be honest, I think that more so what I meant is that, I always kind of wanted everything. Everyone wants to be, rich and famous, and everyone wants the entire world. But I think that coming from Akron, Ohio, it's almost like, I think this is a problem with a lot of kids from, small cities, is, you almost can't even imagine in your wildest dreams that some of these things would ever be possible. So, to me, simply being in the skateboard industry, being a professional skateboarder, drinking beer with my friends on the roof of my, 2-bedroom house seemed like a dream come true at the time. Now, thinking about it now, that seems like a nightmare. But at the time, that's about as high as my kind of expectations could get me,
Yeah, no, I understand that. I'm from a small town too, so.
Yeah, you get it. And then I think what happened is, I'm sure you've experienced this too, is once you get around, people and businesses and people that are ambitious and doing things, you kind of start to see how possible it truly is. And once again, that's a message that I love to spread to kids, is that it truly is possible for anyone to do just about anything. And it just sometimes it takes being around it to see that it's actually possible. I think that's what happened to me. I moved to LA and I was like, oh my gosh, you can make money and have fun doing this stuff and not go kill yourself on a skateboard every day. And I think this is what I want.
Oh yeah, no, I definitely see where you're coming from. It's the same way where I'm from in Chattanooga. All my friends and even people that I'm not close with are just they think that the only place in the world is this small town, and that there's nothing else out there. And I'm just like, you have no idea how big the world, like, you could go do anything. There's nothing stopping you. What are you doing?
Yeah, and I think that people kind of look at celebrities and, you know, they look at these people as like almost like superheroes, and they almost, I feel like when you grow up in a small town, you just accept the fact that you'll never be that.
Yep.
Like, it's not even like, oh, I hope, but probably not. It's like, it's almost as if they're a different species than you are, and you will never be that, and you have to accept it. It's so weird, but like I said, that's something I really try to preach to my fans. It's, you know, I know it's kind of corny, and everyone says, you know, you can do it too, and blah, 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 but, like, truly, like, all these people are just doing it. It's not that crazy. So,
yeah,
like I said, when I moved here and kind of started seeing it, I'm the type of person that, you know, I'm very competitive, and as soon as I see that, you know, real people are doing these things, I want to get involved and try to be the best at it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But yeah.
My second question is, how has being in front of cameras for basically your entire adult life, how has it impacted you?
That's a good question. I've never really been asked that question in that way. I would say, first of all, yes, it's been since I was 18. I'm now 26. I don't know. I mean, I do think it has kind of affected me a little bit. It's not, obviously, it's not this horrible story of a TV personality gone wrong, but it does affect you. I mean, when you're, once again, I moved from Akron, Ohio, where there's absolutely nothing going on, and people don't even have cameras to point at you, to moving to LA, and about 6 months after I moved to LA is when we first started shooting the first season of Robin Big. So from then on, yeah, with cameras, and it was, I don't know, I mean, I think if anything, the only side effect is that it's made me a little bit more cautious of what I say and do.
Yeah.
And I don't really have that, like, you know, I have a lot of friends that kind of feel like they can just do whatever they want, and they can go out, you know, when they go out to clubs or when they go to events, they can just be complete idiots, and that's perfectly fine. And really, I could probably do it too, but it's kind of given me this sense of, like, you have to watch what you're doing because people, there's something to talk about if you mess up, you know, which I'm slowly kind of growing out of and caring a little bit less and less as I go, but it did kind of instill that in me that people are always watching.
Yeah, I've definitely done the same thing. I've been on TV now for 4.5, almost 5 years, I think, or something like that. And yeah, at first it was crazy, and then it got to a point to where, like you said, you're kind of worried about anything you do or say in public, and now I'm kind of getting to a point to where, I mean, I'm an adult anyway, so I'm not going to go act like a complete idiot, but I am starting to care less and less about what anyone has to say. Like, it's just such a waste of time.
It really is, and that's why I literally would never wish, and do never wish, and could not imagine being like a true celebrity, like
me neither.
Like a Justin Bieber, or like, I could never imagine, because even my little bit, I don't even like to say the word famous.
I don't
either. The little bit I've been on TV, and you, I'm sure we're on the same page, but that little bit, it's simply the difference of if you go to a party and you act like a moron, and your friend next to you who's not on TV acts like a moron, you're the one that everyone's going to talk about.
Oh, yeah.
And it's going to be a story, and it's going to be, oh, he's cocky now, or he's full of himself, or he's on drugs, or, you know, it's always something. So I hate to admit it, but it has made me a little bit more aware of, you know, who I'm around and what I do, because it is a story to some degree.
Definitely. Okay.
Especially with Twitter and Instagram.
Yeah. Okay, what experiences during, like, the very first Robin Big, like, episodes, what experiences do you think impacted you most, like, while filming that show? I guess, what are some that you, like, specifically remember that were just crazy, or that meant a lot to you, or that you learned a lot from? Anything?
Yeah. I would say, let me do a quick brainstorm. I would say, I do have to say, once again, not to be unoriginal here, but I would say the entire experience itself taught me so much, and that was a massive turning point in, obviously, me realizing that there's more to life than, you know, drinking 40s on a roof with your skateboard friends. But that's where I started to learn the business and learn what everyone was doing and how MTV worked and how all this stuff works. So, all in all, that as a whole, was something that definitely changed my life, and I wouldn't be the same without it. That being said, on a more lighthearted note, I will say there was a time when, they didn't even show this on the air because it was too dangerous, but there was a time we were filming, and we had just gotten a new dog cage for Meaty, and it was sitting in the kitchen. I walked upstairs, and Rob and Big Black were like, "Hey, you think you could fit in this thing?" I was like, "Yeah, I could definitely fit in there." Big Black tried to fit in it, and of course he didn't fit. And so finally I'm like, "Look, move, I'll get in it. Like I'll fit in it." So I got in there, and the moment I got my foot my last foot in the cage, they slammed it shut and locked it, and instantly carried me out to the side of the pool and pushed the cage in the pool. And I think that they were just kind of like caught up in the moment, and it all just happened so fast. And literally, and I didn't realize until I hit the bottom of the pool that I was locked in a cage, and there was literally nothing I could do. And so I started kicking and trying to break the cage, whatever, and I couldn't. And there was seriously a moment where I was like, "Oh my God, like this is how I'm gonna die." Like they think it's a joke. They haven't realized that the cage is locked. I didn't have time to take a breath. I'm gonna die in the cage at the bottom of our pool. And literally right before I just decided that I had to take a breath of water, Big Black had jumped in and pulled me up just enough to get my head out of the water. And I just breathed in as hard as I could, but it ended up being absolutely hilarious. It was like one of those crab fishing shows, but they wouldn't air it because apparently it was too easy for kids to reenact
To try that, yeah. Oh, that's hilarious.
There's one trailer where you can barely see a clip of them pushing me in the pool in a cage, but that's it, then they cut it. But that was definitely, I don't know what lesson I learned. I guess don't fall for stupid challenges, but that was definitely one of the more memorable stop and bait experiences.
That's hilarious. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, the next one is, I want you to give me like one value that you live by, just like for your personal mind, just what you think, like one value that you live by, and then one value that you live by for success, if it's not the same thing.
Yeah, that makes, that's a good one. Make sure I pick a real one here. I don't know, I will say that I think both in personal and in business, I'm a big believer in loyalty and in doing the right things by the people that do the right things to you.
Absolutely.
And I think that kind of crosses over, I think if you can truly live by those rules, by that rule, it can help you in becoming successful as well as in your personal life. And I think that I get it probably from, I have to give some credit to growing up in Ohio and kind of having those sort of values instilled in me from small town America before coming to a crazy place like LA. But I've just learned, and it continues to prove itself every day, that both in personal and in business, it's more difficult to find people that truly mean well. But when you do, and when you do nothing but the same back to those people, you will get way further, both in your own happiness and in success. As opposed to, I think a lot of people go for kind of the quick buck or the quick thrill or whatever by hanging out with whoever's the most fun person at the time or whoever talks the loudest. But I don't know. I think that's the main thing is just finding those people that truly want the best for every situation and returning to them that same respect.
I completely agree. And I definitely think that coming from a small town is definitely where that comes from, because that's where I get from too. It's a lot different when you're from the middle of kind of nowhere rather than a big city.
And that's what I like about having such a dramatic, like I said, not to be a broken record here, but coming from there and moving here, and that also kind of ties back into your first question. Just one thing that being on TV and all that stuff does is it just makes you aware of the people that are around you that come out of nowhere, and the people that are opportunists, and the people that just want to maybe get a shot at being on TV or want some free clothes or whatever it may be. And like I said, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, everyone has an agenda to some degree, but there's just that extra level of gratification that you get from dealing with, real people that truly just want to move forward and make progress.
So what made you want to start your clothing line, Young and Reckless?
What it really was I've always had an interest in clothing. Ever since I was a dirty little skater kid, I try to cut holes in my jeans and stretch my shirts out and do all this weird stuff. And so what happened was when we were filming Robin Big, once again, another lesson I learned was how, how much of an impact MTV and reality TV has on kids. And so what really happened is when we started Fantasy Factory, I just kind of decided to myself that, this was an interest that I had, and if I was ever going to try it, I had to try it right away. And because I could put it on our show, I could wear it on our show, and that would be the best chance that I had of ever making it work. So I actually missed the first season of Fantasy Factory. If you watch it, I'm wearing other clothing because I didn't get my trademarks approved in time, and I was literally heartbroken. I felt like it was all over. But finally, by season 2, I got everything done, got the logos done, and that's where I started wearing it. And that's where it all started. But it was literally like I had some interest in it, did a little bit of research, and realized that I had no other choice but to try to figure it out than I was ever going to do it.
Yep. Yeah, it's insane how big of a deal MTV is. Like we were talking about it earlier, whenever you're from a small town or like you have no experience or no idea what kind of like the entertainment world is about, you think it's such a huge thing. And then when you're a part of it, you realize how simple it really is.
Yeah.
But it has such a huge impact on people. Like it blows my mind how popular or how many people pay attention to MTV. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's insane. It truly really blew my mind on Robin Big, and that's why I kind of adjusted to use it to my advantage a little bit on Fantasy Factory. But yeah, and that's the same way I feel even about your guys' show. Is that's why I like you so much, is because you take the message from your guys' show and use it in a positive way. You use it to do positive things. Like sometimes when there's the girls on there that are crazy drug addicts and all that stuff, I almost think I don't know if they even realize, or if MTV even realizes how they're truly affecting kids. And sometimes I wonder, maybe it helps, but maybe it makes kids think that that's how you become a star, is by being a psycho. And, I always question it. So, but it's shocking. It's truly shocking how much of an impact it has on people.
Oh, I know. I mean, I've always, I think with my show, there's always going to be that chance that it could make someone want to, get pregnant or want to be crazy to be on TV. But, I just say, all I can do is kind of do my part. And, I try to just keep me and my goals, good, and I'll just let everyone else do what they want to do.
Absolutely. You're doing it right. Like I said, you use it to spread a message and to, just be realistic.
Right.
And it's not like, it's the end of the world, but it seems to me like your message is kind of, this is the decision you're going to make sure you're ready to handle it.
Exactly.
This is what it entails.
Exactly.
And that's great. I think that's amazing. I just get worried, even with Jersey Shore and even some of these shows where it's just built on people being psychos. It's I've seen how receptive kids are to whatever you do on TV. So I can only imagine if kids were to take that too serious and think that, that's what it takes to be successful, is taking shots on the Jersey Shore boardwalk and punching girls in the face.
Yeah.
It could be dangerous.
It is. Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, it's definitely something to think about, but I mean, I don't know. It's just such a big conversation. We'll have to have another time.
Yeah.
Okay, so after you started Young and Reckless, how did you get other celebrities to start wearing your clothing line? I know Machine Gun Kelly wears it a lot. I've seen meet like 50 Cent. Apparently, Zac Efron is a huge fan.
Yeah.
Like, how did you get all of these people kind of like on board to wear your stuff?
So this is what happened. Once again, long story short, when I started this clothing line, it was very, very important to me to not let it become like Drama's merchandise. And that was my worst nightmare, was like, it's going to be this corny thing that you only wear if you're a fan of me, and that's about it. And that's not what I wanted. I truly, from the beginning, wanted this to be a worldwide movement, and I still have a lot of work to do to get there. But so what I did is, from day one, I essentially treated it as if I was not on television. And even though I was wearing it every day on TV, I still would leave filming, go to our office, spend every off moment I had at our office, hired marketing people that used to work at other clothing lines and knew the business, put together a really solid team, and just instantly started reaching out to everyone that we could think of, and sending them clothes and going and hanging out with them and talking about it. And then it's almost like, it's very similar to like the reaction you have when you're first on TV and you start to see all the responses you get, and you're like, geez, I had no idea that many people care.
Yeah.
It's kind of a similar thing. Like, you do some groundwork, you meet people, you get your clothes on people, and then all of a sudden it starts popping up in places that you had nothing to do with, and you're like, what the hell? Like, how did 50 Cent get it?
Yeah.
And how does Zac Efron? Like, it's the weirdest thing, but it's still a battle that I fight every single day. I'm doing it today, and that's just, you just really, if you really care, and you really are behind what you're doing, then you have a message to talk about, and you have cool clothes to talk about, and so you just take care of the people that support you and are always out meeting people and just trying to make it as big as possible, really.
Yeah. That's awesome. Okay.
So, that's the biggest thing is I just didn't treat it like, hey, I'm famous, I wear it, so everything's all good. I think that's where a lot of people make a mistake.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. I mean, I think that one thing that people that might be in like our situation, and then even people that, haven't been on TV before, I don't think that people understand how hard it is and how much work it is to actually start a clothing line.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
And especially me. I'll always have the curse of kids thinking that it was really as easy as it looked on the show, and thinking that, Rob created a clothing line for me and all that stuff. But, it is what it is. That stuff doesn't get to me, but absolutely. Nobody, because people just think that you are exactly who you are on TV, and they're like, oh, I didn't see you in any meetings on TV, so you must not do much.
I get the same thing, because I do so much off camera, and people are like, I don't ever see you do that. I'm like, you don't understand, like, the TV is only 5 minutes of my actual life.
Exactly.
I don't get
it. It's such a small part, and it's, like when you do TV, I'm not going to sit here and, say it's fake or say anything like that, but people have to understand, as you know, that it's, it's a very small, very focused section of your life, not the whole thing.
Yeah.
And, and the other thing is, plain and simple, no matter what you do, no matter what business you're in, the moment you start getting any sort of public recognition, there will always be people that try to test you and say that you don't deserve it, and say that they could have done it better. And no matter what it is, that will always happen.
Yep. Okay,
so that's why I don't have to let it get to me. I look at Instagram from a Disney kid, or like somebody that I would never expect anyone to hate, and sure enough, there's like people hating on them. I'm just like, man, how are you going to hate on a 12-year-old girl?
Oh yeah, they're crazy. People on Instagram are out of their damn minds.
Yeah, but it's funny. That's just how people are.
Okay, so I actually took to Twitter and asked people if they could ask you any question, what would it be? And I swear, the 2 number 1 questions that I got from hundreds of people, one of them was, how did you get the name, the nickname Drama?
Yes, so unfortunately, this story is really boring. I was growing up in Ohio. I loved rap music. I was getting into making beats, and I thought I was a little rapper. I used to wear, 2XL tall tees and Air Force Ones. And I had an email address that was causing drama. And, it's kind of like in those days when everyone's AOL screen name was something really whack.
Yes.
It was in those days, and mine was causing drama. And I just went about my life. Nobody cared. And one day I sent an email to Rob when I was 15. And I forget what I asked him, but I asked him this long question or whatever, and he just wrote me back and said, causing drama? Are you kidding? And I was like, what? I just truly did. I was like, what, dude? That's my name. And then, so when I moved to California, when I was 18, Rob just printed out a bunch of pictures of me looking like a, idiot, and put them on his kitchen table and told all of his friends, my cousin is moving here. His name is Drama. He calls himself Drama. And I want everyone to be nice to him. So when I finally moved to LA, everyone just called me Drama, whatever. Everything was Drama. And nobody knew my real name for so long. And then obviously we started filming a TV show, and now the world knows me as Drama.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, so I wish I had a better story about, getting into a lot of trouble and causing a lot of drama, but really I didn't. It's all based off of an AOL screen name.
Oh, that's perfect. All right. Yeah. The second question was from literally every girl that follows me on Twitter wants to know if you're single.
I am not.
Uh-oh.
I have a girlfriend by the name of Jocelyn Chu, and if any of you girls get angry and want to tunnel your hatred towards somewhere, she's actually just started on a reality show on Oxygen called The Face. So now we're just a cute little reality couple.
Oh, perfect. Those are the best.
So cute.
Well, congratulations on that and everything that you have going on. You're the best. And me and Bentley love Young and Reckless, obviously. That's all we wear.
Thank you.
Okay, guys, I hope you enjoyed that interview with Drama, and, he definitely said a lot of good things in there and gave some really good advice, and I hope you learned a lot from it. The idea of starting a business can be very daunting because people will come up with all the concerns as far as, I don't know how to run a business, or I don't know what business to start, or I don't have the money, or I don't have the time. People think that they have to go to school and they have kids and they don't have any spare time to run a business. Well, you don't have to worry about that because I'm going to be giving you tips and resources on how to navigate through the potential obstacles, because I do have a son and I do go to school and I do many other things for work, and I keep it all going. So we're going to talk about that and get you guys some confidence to start moving towards where you want to be. Where the lack of money is a concern, here's the 411 on how to overcome that. Most people start their business by bootstrapping. This means they're using their bedrooms or garages as offices. Yes, Apple started in Steve Jobs' garage. Stella and Dot was started in Jenny's living room, and so many other successful businesses were the exact same way. So you already have offices or factories where you live. A good resource to help you with bootstrapping is a book by Seth Godwin called The Bootstrapper's Bible, How to Start and Build a Business with a Great Idea and Almost No Money. You can find this book on Amazon.com. Go on our website and click on the Amazon link and buy it. In addition to bootstrapping, there's a lot of business you can start at little or no money down, and I will list them here for you. You can also go on our website to get more resources. One that comes to mind for the coolest chick is to start your own independent stylist business with Stella and Dot jewelry. The business model is very flexible and you can do it at your own time. You're not forced to commit to anyone's schedule. The CEO and founder created this business when she started having her kids. If you're in school or a working young adult or a mom and you want to start your business doing what you love, so we have addressed the money factor as well as the time factor now for the business idea. What business idea to get into? There are a lot. I suggest to do what you love, do what you're passionate about, Because if you're not, then you're going to give up. You're not going to want to work as hard, and you really have to be committed for it to work. So here's a book for business ideas. The book is by Seth Godin, and it's called Small is the New Big, and 193 riffs, rants, and remarkable business ideas. You can get this book for free by signing up for a free 30-day trial with audible.com by logging on to our website, www.coolestchick.com, or logging on to audibletrial.com/coolestchickpodcast. There's a lot to learn in business, and in addition to this book, you should also find yourself a mentor. In case you missed episode 3 where we covered finding mentors, you can go to iTunes or Stitcher to listen to many ways you can get yourself a mentor. If fashion is your passion, Stella & Dot is definitely a good choice of business. Visit our website and click to see what they're offering. You can start your business with as little as $199, and you can make a lot of money selling socially on Twitter, Facebook, on your website, and by having girls shopping, trunk shows, and parties. If fashion is not your thing, but you're into makeup or other personal products like perfume, lotions, anything like that, then you may want to try Mary Kay. It's there for the taking. All these business models provide marketing material and a lot of other support for the business owners, so you don't have to worry about being a business expert. Those companies will help you. So now onto the cool and spotted for this week. I have these cool apps. The first two are called Feed, spelled Pheed, and KEEK, spelled Keek. They currently have Feed on iPhone only. The Android version will be coming soon. KEEK is found on both Android and iPhone. And I have a KEEK. I just started using it a couple weeks ago. It is so cool. It's exactly like, Twitter and Instagram, but it's for videos instead. It's super awesome. And if you happen to get a KEEK, you can follow me. And please subscribe. It will notify you every time I post a KEEK of me and Bentley. They're awesome. You can find these two apps on iTunes or in the App Store, so that's very cool. The apps are specifically used for a lot of cool chicks between the ages of 14 and 25. With KEEK and Feed, you can share text, photo, videos, and audio to your Twitter account, Facebook account, and Instagram. I love KEEK. And like I said before, I am on it, so you can see mine and Bentley's personal home videos. Subscribe to it, and my KEEK name, just go to www.keek.com/MacyBookoutMTV. In addition to those social apps, to get you gliding smoothly on the social lane, we also have this cool... Before I forget, please email me any questions you have on how to start your business, and I will point you in the right resources. But thanks for tuning in this week to the Coolest Chicks podcast, and don't forget to come back next week for episode 5. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Download more exclusive content at CoolestChick.com. Take the Coolest Chick podcast to work or school. If that doesn't work, take it to the gym or your next girls' night hangout by subscribing to the Coolest Chick podcast on iTunes or Stitcher. This episode is brought to you by Audible.com. Sign up for a free 30-day trial and receive a